Hey guys, this is Brian, aka Texas Treasures, and I'm a six-figure reseller on eBay. And today I want to help you, especially if you're a beginner reseller. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to make $100 per day on the side selling on eBay. So, if you find this type of content valuable, smash the like button, subscribe below, and comment with any questions that you may have. I want to look at what this looks like, and I want to help guide you through the process of how to figure this out. So let's say you have a 9 to 5 and you're wanting to make an extra $100 a day, $700 a week profit on eBay. That's a lot of money. That's almost a full-time, or that could even be a full-time job in itself. It could help you pay down debt. It could help you save for your kids' college education. It could help fund your travel fund to go on vacation. There's a lot that you could do with an extra $100 per day. And I want to walk you through this and kind of explain what that looks like and how you might achieve that. So the good thing about this, I believe you can do this in anywhere from 10 to 20 hours per week. If you're thinking about making $700 profit, if you could get this down to 10 hours per week, that's 70 bucks per hour. Even at 20 hours per week, you're looking at 35 bucks per hour. All right. So let's look at the schedule and then we'll kind of break it down. Let's just say for the average person, let's say you're working a 9 to 5. What I would recommend then is maybe on the way home, twice per week, you stop at a local thrift store or stores and pick up some items that are profitable. If you can find 5 items, if you could list 5 items per day with a $20 profit margin that are desirable, over time, those will sell. Your sell-through rate you can easily get where you can sell 5 items per day at a $20 profit. That's $100 per day. And that's kind of what this is based off of. So looking at your schedule, maybe 2 times per week you stop at a local thrift or thrift stores to find these items. And we'll talk in a minute about what that would look like. And then maybe on a Saturday, you spend half a day going out to a garage sale or a flea market, or maybe you go to an estate sale. And there you spend another, another 4 hours per week doing that. And then that would require you to list probably an hour after work. You come home, you spend 1 hour listing 5 items per day. And then once these start to sell, maybe you have to get up an hour earlier to to ship these 5 items that have sold. So that's where the 10 hours, 4 hours of sourcing at thrift stores on the way home, another 4 hours maybe on a Saturday at garage sales or a flea market, an hour listing per day, and then an hour shipping per day. And that's 10 hours per week. Even if you put a little bit more time into it, takes you a little bit longer. Let's say you double that, that's 20 hours per week. That's still 35 bucks per hour. Well, here comes the big question, right? Sounds good, but what do I need to sell that will get me this money? That's always the big question. The good thing is that eBay provides research under Terapeak Sourcing Insights. You can sort the top categories, and I sorted these search to listing ratio high to low. If your search to listing means the ratio of people looking for this items versus the amount of items listed is high, which implies there is demand. And of course, you're gonna that will help guide you into it. So let's look at this. Here are some categories, and you're going to have to spend some time. I can't tell you exactly because a lot of this is going to depend on where you live and what sourcing opportunities you have. But here are some ideas that you could think about. And here's the searching to listing ratio, and here's the sell-through rate, which means the percentage of these items that sell in a specific time. The number 1 category is cell phones and smartphones. Well, obviously, that is great, but finding these, you probably can find some of these at garage sales, so you might want to consider that. But I know that source is hard. It's hard to tap into a good source of cell phones and smartphones. Video game consoles, a lot of people know about this. This has a search to listing ratio of 11%. with a 22% sell-through rate. So these are great. You can find these sometimes at garage sales, sometimes on Facebook Marketplace, sometimes on OfferUp. Not only the video game consoles, but the games themselves. So this is a really good niche to get into. If you go into this niche, you'll want to set up a testing station. You'll probably want to have a TV dedicated with a couple of different video game consoles so you can test the video games on the TV. And then also you'll find a lot of these video games that you can get really cheap at garage sales. And then you can actually test the games and sell those games as well. So that's a really good niche. Athletic shoes, that is a niche that I am in. Coach jackets and vest. Look at this one. This is a good category, and especially this time of year, it's when jackets and coats are selling. And these you can find coats, jackets, and vests at thrift stores, at garage sales, at estate sales, at the flea market, on local marketplaces. You can find these very easily. So I want to do a deep dive into that. But I just want to quickly go through the other categories to get you thinking about some possible opportunities. And that has a search to listing ratio of 4.14%. Wristwatches, I found and sold these at garage sales. You could also do shopgoodwill.com. I bought watches in bulk on eBay through shopgoodwill.com. Women's bags and handbags. This is a really good category, not one that I specialize in. On that, you got to worry about authentication of higher ends, but if you spend the time learning that niche, that could be a good one. Dolls and doll play sets. That's a good category. Action figures. Now, let's talk about toys and action figures a little bit. These you can find at garage sales. If you spend the time and learn what toys and action figures, especially the vintage ones, think G.I. Joe, think He-Man, all of these from the 80s and 90s, people are willing to spend a lot of money for the nostalgia of these action figures. And you can often find these at garage sales or flea markets where people don't know the value of these toys and they're getting rid of them. Also, plushes and teddy bears and all sorts of toys. So that's a good opportunity. And this is one just about anyone can find locally. Video games that I mentioned with the video game consoles, I think this is a great category, but there is a lot more competition. I don't think there's as much competition in the toy category. Contemporary manufacturers, so think auto parts. Like when I was an everything seller, I would find car radios pretty often, stereo systems at garage sales, and oftentimes I picked these up for $5 to $10, and I sold one up to $495. So this could be a really good category. You know, you may have to get a system set up to test these, or you could even list them as untested. You won't get as much money, but you can still make some good money on that. On auto parts, you could go to like junkyards. If you learn how to pick and pull, you can make good money doing that. There's women's coats, jackets, and vests. Collectible cards is a super hot category right now. That one's blowing up. T-shirts, you can find these everywhere, especially if you learn to look for the vintage t-shirts. That's a good category. Comics and graphic novels. Dresses, I wouldn't want to list those, but you know, dresses is a good category. Single cards, vinyl records, DVDs, Blu-rays, media. That's a volume game, but you can get this stuff really cheap, like at garage sales. Like I found a sealed Seinfeld set of DVDs, and I got them super cheap at a garage sale, and those sold for good money. Women's tops and books. But so any of these are just ideas, and you could play around with this through Terapeak. But let's look into coats and jackets in a little bit more detail. So if you go under the same Terapeak, under the research tab, Terapeak product research, and I just put men's jacket, right? And I'm looking at the last 90 days. I hit the search button, and this is what it gave me under the used category, which you could filter right here. You can see the average sold price for a men's jacket is $64. It gives you the average shipping, the sell-through rate, almost 19%. So during the winter, these are going to sell really well. And what I like to do, it gives you the average sold price. You see these are peaking in January over the past 90 days. You could also look at that over the past 365 days. but I like this. The fourth one over gives you, well, actually it's not good on this one. Let's do 365 days. Of course, what you're going to see here is that jackets are not going to sell well during the summer. The average sold price, the total number that have sold, you can see here, like from September through March. So like for half the year, these sell really well. Obviously, they're not going to sell as great during the summer, but some still do sell during the summer. The average sold price and the number that sold, and then it gives you the distribution, which I don't know, that is skewed right there. And underneath, you can sort them by date last sold. And this could just give you an idea of jackets, right? This is a very broad category. You can look at a sports jacket. This one sold for $85, this Peter Millar. And a lot of people don't mess with sports jackets, suits, and blazers. And you can find these very frequently in the thrift store for pretty cheap. You just got to figure out all the measurements I've sold in this category, done well. The chest measurement, the sleeve measurement, the shoulder measurement, the length, looking at the material, a lot of things here. An Oakley down jacket sold for $153. Look at this, a Carhartt jacket just sold for $80. A Nike hoodie sold for $75. Make sure I'm on pre-owned here, because obviously if we're looking at new, that will skew this data too. So let's just update that. So it brings it down to $68, but still good money. There's the Peter Millar, a starter San Francisco jacket. I think they probably sold that one too low. Maybe that was even vintage. That sold for $30. An Aero ski jacket. Ski jackets are selling well. That sold for $14. A Patagonia work jacket sold for $39. An Orvis blazer sold for $25. A Polo Ralph Lauren hunting jacket sold for $65. A vintage Guess jacket sold for $22. Just giving an idea, guys. There's another Carhartt. There's an Orvis. So you can look through here. Harley Davidson. Yeah, anytime you find a Harley Davidson jacket, that's good. That sold for $91. The North Face sold for $20. So you could look through here, and then you could actually even sort by brands. Spend some time looking up jackets and coats. But this is a big opportunity, and I've often picked these up at thrift stores and especially garage sales for very cheap. And you can flip those for good money. So these are lots of different categories that you could source in. So what you would want to do is figure out maybe one or a couple of these that you want to source. Spend some time, like I did in Terapeak or eBay Sold, looking at the brands and what they're selling for, and then go out and consistently hit the thrift stores after work. Hit garage sales on Saturday. Maybe hit the flea market on the weekend if you have one near you. If you have estate sales, you can go to estatesale.net, go to estate sales. And when you're first starting out, you'll want to use the eBay app or the eBay on your phone. Type in what it is that you found, and then type in the condition, type in sold, and look at what these things are selling for. Look at the condition of the item that you're picking up and decide if that's something that you want to sell. I have a lot of other videos that go into the mechanics of listing as far as titles and pictures and item descriptions and pricing. So you might want to check out those other videos. But I think eBay is a amazing opportunity where you can find things that people no longer want that you could then pick up, source, list, ship out. And as low as 10 hours per week, you can make $100 per day, especially if you focus in on these niches that are in high demand. Like you could do that with one video game console, one cell phone a week. It's crazy. There's almost limitless opportunity. So if you have any comments or questions, drop them in the comment section below. I hope you found some value in this. If so, smash the like button. Consider subscribing for more eBay content, and let's get making extra $100 per day on the side. That's all I have for you guys. We'll see you on the next video.